Good morning, everyone. I just decided to pop in this morning. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Barbara Littles, and I help women to negotiate the best outcomes for their lives. And so I'm here this morning because I'm thinking about the end of the year. And, we all sit down and we reflect at the end of the year in terms of how our year went and what it is we actually want moving forward. And as I was thinking about this morning, I was thinking about you. And in thinking about you, some of you have already contacted me. You might be stuck in terms of where you are. You may not know what it is you want to do next. And some of you do know what you want to do next. You just don't know how to get there. And so I just came this morning to give you a couple of things to consider, during this time. I remember growing up, I was reflecting about growing up and how my family, and those of you, African American families, a lot of times we sat around the table every Sunday for dinner, right? And so it was during that time that my father would cast vision. And I didn't realize at the time that he was casting vision, but he was casting vision for what he wanted all eight of his children to do. And even though he, or no, my mother had the opportunity to even finish high school, he wanted all of his children to go to college. And he spoke that vision every Sunday around the dinner table, which we talked about other things. We talked about baseball, we talked about school, we talked about what we liked, what we were doing. But he always incorporated into that conversation this notion of education and continuing on to college. Needless to say, casting that vision, my father's vision came to pass for eight of his children. And as I think about that, that is really where I learned, first of all, to cast vision. So you have to have a vision for where you want to go and know why you want to get there. You see, he understood that education would provide additional and better opportunities for his kids. So his why was very strong. He also understood that he wasn't going to be around forever to take care of us. And so he understood that I need to make sure that my children are productive on their own. I learned to cast vision at a young age, even though I didn't know that. Secondly, I remember I have a twin sister. For those of you who know me, I have a twin sister. And my twin sister and I used to do everything together. We used to go every place together. We were like peanut butter and jelly, frick and frat. And we fell into these roles growing up. She would speak and I would listen. So I would listen and she would speak, right? Until we separated and I went off to law school and she went to the military. And I remember standing in the dormitory one day and something had gone wrong with my room. And a voice within me said, well, Barbara, you're going to have to speak up for yourself now. She's not here and you're going to have to speak up for yourself. So I had to move in that moment from listening to speaking. And it took me on a journey of learning to speak up for myself and to speak up for what I wanted and for where I was going in my life. Some of you may need to go on that journey. It doesn't matter if you're 30, you're 40, you're 50, you're 60, however old you are, you may need to learn to speak up. My dad used to tell me, just ask for what you want. He said they could either say yes or no. Neither one of them are going to kill you. And so I started on this journey for speaking up. Some of you may be stuck because you're not speaking up for what you want. You're not envisioning what you want, and you haven't figured out the why of what you want. And so you cannot negotiate those things in your life. The third thing that I remembered is that in this place of learning to speak up, I had to learn it wasn't enough to want things. It wasn't enough to just speak things. I really had to develop a strategy for my life and for what I wanted to happen in my life. And so I will say to you today that you need a vision, you need strategy, and need to learn to speak up. All right. And that's the only way you will get what you want. I always say, and my mantra is to women, especially, that you don't get what you want and you do not get what you work for. You get what you negotiate. You see, we a lot of times will put our head down and we'll work very hard. And our hope is that someone will see us and someone will say, oh, Barbara's working really hard and I think she should have this promotion and this job and this position. And I learned that it doesn't work that way. I learned that because I was at a job in my younger age where I learned after being on that job for about 8 months or to a year that I was actually making $40,000 less than the rest of my colleagues. It was time for me to negotiate, and I had to strategically negotiate a different place and a different position for myself. I stayed with the corporation, but I negotiate a raise and a promotion. So what I'm saying to you today is as you're reflecting about going into 2023, there are some things that you're going to have to do. And I want to give you a couple of tips today on things that you can do in order for you to get to that place where you can go into 2023 very strongly. Number one, I want you to sit and over the next week, and I want you to think as you sit and reflect. Make sure that is a quiet space. It's an uninterrupted time. And I want you to sit and reflect. What is it that I want? And why do I want it? Because the why is important, because as you strategize to get there, you're going to hold on to the why, and the why is going to be your guiding light. That's number one. Number two, when you think about what you want and why you want it, I want you to think about what is it going to take strategy wise to get to that place. Now, you may be a little stuck here and you may need a little help, but I want you to at least think about what it is it's going to take to get there. I don't want you to think about how you're going to do it. I want you to really keep in front of you the why of what you want to do. You see, I never ask myself how first. I always ask myself why. And if I've determined that the why is strong enough, the how will show up. Number three, I want you to consider what is stopping me right now from being where I want to be. And I can give you some tips. They show up in three areas. It's either time, money, or energy. Those three things are the three things that generally will prevent you, if you have not figured it out, from getting where you want to go. Time, money, and energy. It's about how we spend our time, how we choose to invest, and where we choose to invest our energy. This may mean that for 2023, you may need to change places. You may need to change relationships. You may need to up-level your relationships. So when I talk about negotiating up, I'm talking about negotiating up in every aspect of your life, be it relationships, be it career, be it your business, be it your ministry. Ladies, it is time to negotiate up. And I want to invite you to work with me in 2023. If you have an interest of working with me in my coaching program in 2023, I want you to DM me and let's have a conversation about your vision, what you want to do, where you want to go, so that we can help you determine where your time, where your energy, and where you need to invest in 2023. DM me, but make sure, don't allow this 2022 to leave and go into 2023 and have no idea of how you're going to get to the next level. It's time to negotiate up. You have a great day. Bye-bye.